And, and I saw some picture of him in a helicopter with a flag in his lap, but it's like, that looks like AI. So you never know it's what.
I'm not interested in winning at all costs. I'm interested in winning, but I'm interested in my integrity too.
I hope that they have a level of thought passing through their head that this guy is completely unhinged. And I don't think being unhinged in this case is a bad thing.
Welcome to Bourbon and Rum, the podcast dedicated to civil conversation. I'm Kent, I like rum, and I'm from the left side of the aisle.
And I'm Kyle, I like bourbon. I tend to be a little more conservative. We're brothers talking politics over bourbon and rum.
What are you drinking?
Well, we got a beach trip coming up in the end of May, and I'm telling myself I'm going to see if I can hold off till then and try to get in some semblance of shape before I go pig out and booze it up at the beach. But I don't know, that may not work out too well. I could see a subsequent podcast maybe tonight or this weekend breaking that streak. But how about you? What are you sipping on?
Well, I'm having a nice daiquiri. Interesting. It's with the Bacardi dark rum, and heaven knows I've consumed a lot of Bacardi rum in my day, but I never bought their dark. And when I did, it's actually really nice. It's got a really nice sweetness to it, a nice richness, and very easy going. So I'll probably get that again for something to have around.
Oh, that's great.
I learned this week that with a Walmart Plus subscription, if you show an ID at the door when they bring the groceries to you, you can get liquor trucked into the house in about a half an hour, which is probably not a good thing to know.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a little scary. Well, I meant to text you. My crazy neighbor that I've talked about on the show often is on a cruise, and he texted me this bottle. He said, "Send this to Kent," and it's in a glass case. It's some kind of high-end rum by the brand Brugal. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, that's a Dominican Republic rum.
Andres Brugal is a prestigious rum, and it's a limited release of over 460 bottles. And I guess I had a bottle there.
Wow.
I don't know. So
I bet it's good. I love the regular Brugal, and there's I won't remember it correctly, but there's like their run-of-the-mill, and then they've got kind of an upgraded one that's really economical, but a good something to sip on. So.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Well, with the holiday, we missed our normal recording, but actually it's just kind of interesting because we're talking on Wednesday night after kind of a dramatic showdown in the Iran war last night. And looks like things kind of got back to normal today, but still some conflict with Israel. Israel continues to strike Hezbollah in Lebanon. But a lot of drama over the weekend, and I'm really interested to hear your read on how this has gone. I think it happens on two tracks. There's the kind of the military's success in doing what they're doing, including a really dramatic story of a rescue, and the politics of it, the positioning and the negotiation. So give me your read on that.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, I contend. I mean, the military piece of it is really impressive. I mean, just the sheer volume of strikes and what they're taking out, and the small amount of casualties. It's pretty cool reading about the rescue. There was a diversion operation along with the CIA. It was pretty cool orchestrated setup. And I think regardless of your politics, you can we can be proud of our military no matter what they're up to.
100%. Question on that before you go on. Did you find it interesting that the Wizzo who was rescued was he full bird colonel? Did they release his name?
I couldn't figure that out if he was a full colonel or if he was a lieutenant colonel. I never saw one way or the other. I mean, it, could certainly be a wing commander.
Sure.
It could be a colonel, or it could be leading they fly with their teams also, so it's not completely.
I just thought that was interesting, a pretty senior officer to be in that shape. But then I was doing some math, and I'm thinking about, what the career arc of somebody who's have they released the name?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm just thinking it's probably not a zero chance that this is someone who was a contemporary of yours.
Possibly, although probably 10, 15 years behind. Honestly, I'm old now, unfortunately. I don't think. They keep saying the downed airmen. They don't mention a name, probably on purpose.
Yeah.
And and I saw some picture of him in a helicopter with a flag in his lap, but it's like that looks like AI. So you never know what.
Yeah. So agreed. Great success on the military. They're answering the call for the mission that they were given. Certainly. What do you think of the mission they were given?
I mean, I think it's something everybody's talked about doing for 50 years, and it's finally being done. I think it's progressing. I mean, hard to say how it's going to turn out. I feel like a lot of the, I've said this before. I mean, a lot of the news articles. I mean, it's exhausting. I mean, it's like this is, we've lost. An hour into the campaign, we've lost, or, the Iranians say this or say that. I'm like, well, okay, maybe, but I'm not really sure that I trust anything coming out of the Iranian news sources or government. And I think it's messy. These aren't, negotiations and, hey, we've got a settlement, we're pushing this, and it's all pretty messy. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of overlap. I don't think it's going to be some clean. I don't think we're going to get in a situation where the emperor's going to show up on a battleship and we're going to sign a deal and it's all going to be over and everybody stands down. I think it's going to be messy, as all these things are. The question is just, can we get this to a place where the threat's neutralized, and can we get it to weaken the place to a degree to where change can come? I mean, whether you like Israel or dislike Israel, what they brought to the Middle East is the power of the dollar, the power of, maybe not the dollar, the power of whatever your currency is, but
the shekel,
the power of
new Israeli shekel.
Yeah, the power of economic freedom, and what you've seen throughout the Middle East, especially over the last, 30, 40 years, is, the countries that embrace economic prosperity and at least try to, I wouldn't say rid themselves of extremism. I mean, you look at Saudi Arabia, there's still obviously extremism there, but kind of keep their crap together and play ball with the world. They've done pretty well, all the countries that have done like that. But then these countries like Iran and Yemen and Gaza and Lebanon, I mean, they've become failed states because they want to go down that path. And I think it's changing. And the fact that like what you see with the Abraham Accords, and I think it's very possible Saudi will join as well. What it says is it's like, we disagree on some things, but we'd rather be trading with one another and not be killing each other. And I think that's possible for Iran, but getting there is not going to be it's going to be messy and choppy getting there. But I think engaging is a good thing. I think, I think we needed to. I think it was inevitable that this confrontation was going to happen, and then I think where Trump's head is trying to. Can you get this to a place that you can negotiate something? And it's not going to work the first time. It's probably going to have a lot of starts and stops. But, I'm encouraged so far.
Well, fair enough. I think this is a case where we can separate the performance of our military answering the call that they were made to. I can't say that degrading Iran's ability to make war is a bad thing, right? And I'm not going to play that game. I think that the objective of the mission was murky at the outset. I think we heard some real bullshit, honestly, that like, oh, well, everybody's just waiting to kill the guy and then they're going to just storm the palace and, regime change is going to take care of itself. I think that was naive. I think I'm checking myself on this. Iran is probably the biggest, most populous, and largest military of a nation that we've done battle with since World War II. It's bigger than Iraq. I don't know about what the military capabilities were, but if you look at the actions that we've had in Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, like this is a pretty serious country, and I think we've done a lot to degrade their ability to make war, but they still have enough missiles to keep ships from going through the Straits of Hormuz. So it's not like we've shut them down.
Well, I disagree with that characterization a bit, in that okay, if they are the biggest military since World War II, 3 weeks into this thing and the military has been dismantled. Yeah, there's yahoos lobbing missiles here and there, but like their missile launches since the start of the war are like single digit percentages of what they were at the beginning. They're running out of missiles, and they got people and they can lob stuff across the fence and they can mess up the Strait of Hormuz. But I mean, I think you said it well. If this is the most formidable military that we've faced since World War II, in 3 weeks we've decimated their armed forces, is amazing.
Agree, but I also think the fact that as much damage as we've done to them, there's still 500 oil tankers that can't get through the straits. And so it's, I think this goes to that asymmetric warfare that we've talked about in the last thing. What they don't need tanks to roll across into Israel, to continue to create bona fide problems for the world. I mean, the stoppage of oil is a serious issue for our economy. I mean, not just ours, the world economy.
We talked about futures. Yeah, there's an impact on oil futures, but there's not an impact on oil supply to us.
No.
And so I guess where I'm going is, I think it's actually right to be like, that's not the number one problem we need to solve. The Strait of Hormuz is not the number one problem we need to solve. It's not our problem to solve. And it's like the people that rely on it, maybe they ought to have a hand in helping resolve that. But all the people that rely on it are not doing anything about it.
I don't know. Predictably, I have a very low opinion of Donald Trump, and I have a very low opinion of the things that he said. I think that we're going to be fine. Our military is certainly capable, and to your point, I can't argue that some version of this needed to happen at some point. It was kind of, had to happen at some point. Do you characterize for me what you think of the? I just find it interesting that there's been a lot of pushback from MAGA. Did you see Tucker Carlson's assessment of the Easter Sunday tweet?
I don't watch Tucker Carlson anymore. I think that guy's off his rocker, but no, I
Okay.
didn't.
Well, a lot of people were pretty horrified by the praise be to Allah on Easter Sunday morning. And, that's just being an asshole, which we've become quite inured to. But what about the threat to civilian infrastructure that was looming over the world yesterday?
I love it. I love it. I thought it was genius.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, what Iran would normally expect from an American president is, we have no problems with the Iranian people. We are just going to take out, measured response and very controllable. I hope that they are having meetings saying, one, that guy's an asshole. He's pissing us off. And two, better yet, he's off his rocker and he's nuts. I hope that they have a level of thought passing through their head that this guy is completely unhinged. And I don't think being unhinged in this case is a bad thing at all.
Well,
because
look, that's well-worn path.
I mean, these people don't respond to logical overtures.
Right, but, and admittedly, the Madman Theory is an old trope in American history. Richard Nixon played that to the hilt. If that's all this is, that's fine. But let me ask you this. In the run-up to this, we did play the bullshit of, we have no problem with the Iranian people. They just got to get rid of this regime. Well, they haven't gotten rid of this regime. So, and do you think this regime...
in 3 weeks, they haven't gotten rid of a 50-year-old regime? Yes, true.
It was fun to me... Like, we take out the guy and they're going to rush the palace that afternoon because those people are so unhappy with the world that they live in.
That was not my... I sure hope that you didn't think I was spinning it that way. I think this is going to take time. I think it's very possible they could overrun it. I don't think it's going to look like Ceausescu in Romania, but I think it's quite possible it could happen. But I don't think it's going to happen next week.
Do you think, though, this regime gives a half a shit about the people of its country?
They don't. They don't.
Well, so then what good is it going to do to bomb power plants?
I hope they know that the last guy that was in charge is dead. And then the next guy is dead. And, what it does to destroy their power plants, destroy their infrastructure, is you destroy their means to carry on any further. I mean, I do not... in any part of my bone think that we're going to nuke Tehran or carpet bomb civilian population. That's not what this is. But when he says we're going to destroy their civilization, I think he's trying to send a clear message to, the mullahs in charge that, like, hey, your life as you know it is going to change substantially. And I don't know that the people in Iran would mind. I think they want to... I would guarantee you that most of the people in Iran would do anything to get rid of these assholes.
Most of the people in Iran would be happy.
Of that.
They would be happy to have no electricity and no frickin' water.
You don't think that could be solved in a week and a half with the world converging on there in a peaceful regime and what they could do to support them? There's not going to be...
No, I don't think that. Again, genuinely, I think that's... I think this is a... With all respect, I think you're underestimating the size and scale of what the nation of Iran is. What would Texas be like if you didn't have any power plants in Texas? I mean, think that through. We're not talking about. We've played games in. We invaded Nicaragua.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about here. And I mean. I saw what he said as posturing bullshit. I'm not deluded that he was actually thinking about. I think he was bluffing, and I think he tacoed. But I think that
this is my biggest beef to this defeatist attitude of the anti-Trump movement here is the part I just have a hard time stomaching. Like, yeah, is this thing going to work out great? Maybe not. Are there a lot of potential negative impacts? 100%. But the constant hand-wringing, and it's the end of the world, and it's all going to fail because Trump's in charge. There's people that want it to fail because Trump's in charge, because then that will then prove that Trump's an idiot or whatever the moniker that somebody has. But it's also that, like, there's no possible way this could work because Trump's in charge. And I'm like, screw Trump. I think this is going to be a better scenario for the future than continuing with status quo. Is it going to be great? Is there going to be problems? 100%. But I just feel like there's this huge movement to come up with a million reasons why it can't possibly work. And I just think it's against our nature as a country. We're in this thing, and I think we want it to succeed.
Well, I hope you don't read that on me. I want us to succeed, and I hold no. I'm shedding no tears for the Iranian regime, right? But it still matters to me, and it matters a lot to me. Trump. This is not about the outcome in Iran. Like, I think that's going to take care of itself. I want to separate that. But, oh my gosh, the guy is so... It just, the whole thing feels beneath us as a nation. That's what I'm saying. Our military, we don't need to threaten to bomb civilian infrastructure to win this thing. It looks weak to me. He always looks weak to me.
Well, yeah, and that's where I'm going. Like, no matter what happens, if Iran becomes a peaceful place 10 years from now, and it was started by this, Trump will never have any credit in your mind to anybody. And I get that. And I'm okay with that. But I'm not going to sit here and, constantly be like, well, then he said this, and he's an idiot, and he screwed this up. Like, I think he's on the right track here. Is it 100% right? No. But, I mean, I guess my point is it just seems like a unfruitful conversation, because there is zero chance that anything positive coming out of this will ever be attributed to Trump. And so then it becomes like this whole thing of, like, it's back to the thing. Is he an idiot? Is he crazy? Or is he sinister? And then I think your answer is all three. So I don't know how to answer.
No, I get you. Does he deserve credit? I think our military deserves credit for what they've done.
You think the mumbler in chief would have pulled this off? Never.
No. Don't mistake as strength, though, what's really, I don't know. Again, this isn't about the outcome. It's not about Iran. You're right. I can't get past it.
It's about how to pick apart all the problems with Trump. That's what this is about.
It embarrasses me. It looks weak as a nation. We don't need to make threats like that. Our military they don't need him threatening to bomb their power plants. We got this. We're strong enough. That's what bothers me. It robs. It undercuts the credit that's due.
I guess I don't get that. What do you? I mean, in my mind, he's trying to pressure them on a negotiation. And again, yeah, you say it's beneath us and it's embarrassing and all this stuff. It's different. It's a way different playbook than anybody's done before. And, will it land and have perfect effectiveness? Maybe not. But it's a hell of a lot different than anybody's done before. And I don't think different is bad necessarily. I think you think different is bad just because it's Trump, and so no matter what he does, it's a horrible idea. But
yes, but I also don't think we need it different. I think things are working pretty well. We've avoided World War III for 75 years. Like, I think we're okay.
Like, so not do anything with Iran and just give them billions of dollars in cash on an airplane. I mean, what is the? I mean, is the argument that we should have just kept the status quo?
No, I don't think I condemned the airstrikes a couple months ago. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Your criticism is right. I don't deny it. I am so horrified by this guy. I am so disgusted by this guy that I can't get over it. And I think this is true in my personal life. I would rather be. I'm not interested in winning at all costs. I'm interested in winning, but I'm interested in my integrity too.
So we don't want to win. Like. We don't want to win if it offends the Prime Minister of Britain or the Iranian news media.
That's not what I'm saying.
Who are you worried about offending? Who are you?
I'm not worried about offending anybody. I'm worried about how I feel about it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm embarrassed by that. I'm embarrassed that he's throwing around that we're going to bomb your power plants and your bridges. That's beneath us. We don't need that.
I don't even know how to answer that. I think it's terrific. I think that's exactly what we need. We need to project force. We need to be, we're going to take this to you like never before if you don't come to the bargaining table. And I'm glad
they don't care about the people. Like this is like that just doesn't add up to me.
I think you underestimate the who these people are that we're dealing with here. I think you have to be extremely radical to get their attention, and I think that's what he's doing, and I think it's the right move.
I just don't know that it's that compelling to them. Do they care if you bomb the infrastructure as long as they get to do what they want to do? I think they're willing to throw their own people under the bus.
I think it's compelling that everybody in the world freaked out. Like, that's crazy for him to say that. I think that's a good outcome. I think that's a terrific outcome, because that ought to deliver the news to the Iranians that you're dealing with a different guy than you've dealt with in that office in the last 50 years. And I think that's a good thing.
Do you think that he would have done it?
Yeah. I mean, again, done it.
Would you have felt good about that?
Done it, I don't think is carpet bombing civilians, but yeah, taking out infrastructure, not a bad move. I mean, eventually this is going to go down. I mean, at some point in a wartime situation, I mean, you're going to strike at the axis of their power. So
I don't know. It's a moving target. I was told that if we killed the bad guy, if we killed the top guy, the villagers were going to be there with the torches at the palace that afternoon, and it was all going to be great.
Who said that and when?
Yeah, that was kind of how it was pitched. The people are just waiting for us to do that.
That's how you heard it, because everything Trump does is a cluster F and a screw up, and it's going to go south. And so that's anything short of perfection in 24 hours is a failure. And that's where 95% of the news media is right now. This thing's a failure. We've lost. We're losers on the world stage. Blah, 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 blah. And it's all bullshit.
Well, I didn't say that we're losers on the world stage.
No, you didn't. You didn't. But that's what, I mean, that is.
But you said
the news media.
These people are just waiting to break out and be free. And maybe that's still true. Maybe that's.
Well, the fact hundreds of thousands of people were protesting while they gunned down 35,000 people tells me they are pretty interested in ending this thing. But it's not going to be fast. There's a lot of thugs in power, and we're taking out a lot of them, but there's a lot more. I mean, I don't know. Again, we're 3 weeks into this. I mean, if we have when we do the podcast in 15 years from now and we're talking that nothing's changed in Iran, yeah, peace, Ken. You're correct. This is a total screw up. But I think it is going to be a different trajectory in that country. It's going to take time and it's going to be messy. But I think it's a lot less messy than some of the other adventures we've had.
What do you make of the pretty public condemnation of Trump? I mentioned Tucker Carlson. You don't look at him anymore. I mean, he's not the only one. A lot of people on the right have been really critical. Alex Jones, your buddy, said that we need to invoke the 25th Amendment.
Yeah.
I mean, are they all nuts now?
Alex Jones ought to run for a Democratic congressman office. He's aligned with their thinking.
So what do you make of that? Seriously, okay, let's put this aside. There's no way we're going to agree on this. I think anything that Trump touches, I think it's bad. I think he's a bad person. I think he's a bad human being, and it's an embarrassment to me that he's the leader of our nation. Let's set that aside. I hope that we win in Iran. All the other good
things that have happened in the last 2 years would have happened under Mumbles. But let's not go there.
I hope that we win. I hope that things work out, and I hope there's freedom for the Iranian people. Set all of that aside. Tell me about your movement. Tell me about your people, because you're all in. What about these people?
Don't put words in my mouth. I am all in for American success. I'm all in for a more peaceful Middle East. I'm all in for the people of Iran to have a brighter future. Yes, I'm all in on those things. I'm not all in on Alex Jones. I'm not all in on Tucker Carlson. The nice thing about the MAGA, or whatever you want to call it, it's not really the MAGA movement. That's what the media likes to say. But the nice thing about generally the red states and the red voters is it's a pretty inclusive tent. There's a variety of folks. There's a lot. We've talked a lot about the party demographics has changed over the last 20 years. A lot of people that are voting Republican today or weren't voting Republican 5 or 10 years ago. So I do think there's a wide tent. I think there is a faction of people that are anti-Israel, just like there's a faction in the left that's anti-Israel. And
I am anti-Israel insofar as the Israel of today and Benjamin Netanyahu, I think is, I'm not for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually for, stable economic democracies and areas of tyrants. So I am for them, but in that sense, I think there's folks that are protectionists, in the party as well. Like they don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything in Ukraine. They don't want to do anything outside the borders of the United States. And I mean, there's probably some argument to be made with some of those folks, but I don't know that true isolationism is a smart move, and I don't know that the majority of Republicans really support that isolationist approach. But I think there's a lot of these guys that are so. And then there's these different groups that are pissed off at different groups. Like, some people are anti Ben Shapiro. Like, Carlson and those guys hate Ben Shapiro and vice versa. There's factions different ways. But yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest change I've seen is the fault line is around the America First. Like, what does America First mean? And I think if you look at the Tuckers and I don't know, I haven't read anything from Alex Jones in a while, so I thank you for that reference. But
25th Amendment. How do we get rid of this guy? It's worth watching the video.
I mean, I should just point out that he has been deplatformed from everywhere. So this means Kent is seeking out Alex Jones content, but
I had to savor when he says to the person on his show, well, what do we do? How do we get rid of him? How do we invoke the 25th Amendment? It was just a moment for me.
No, that's awesome. No, I mean, I think a lot of people look at that America First, like, okay, that means we're only in America and you're never going to leave America. And it's like, I don't know. I think you could be against the overreach of USAID and not be against, being proactive about global threats. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a good point. There's probably a lot in the party that had that feeling. And And you bring up a great point too. I mean, that's where this thing gets tricky. Like, it's probably not going to happen in a week where it becomes a stable democracy in Iran. There's probably going to take time. Who knows what that looks like? And the longer it is and the messier it is, the more people you're going to lose. So, yeah, I don't think, and again, that's kind of, back to, back to your view of Trump. This isn't, it certainly wasn't a politically self-serving move. Because there are, this could rupture the party in a lot of ways, for sure. Mm-hmm. So it certainly threatens that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's a single piece of evidence that you've given me that he really is thinking about what's best for America, because I think this will be expensive to him. I really do. And he may have concluded that the midterms were a loss anyway. I saw that people are saying that he's looking to engineer some sort of crisis that we can sideline the midterms. But maybe he just figured it's going to lose him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the party of Nicolas Maduro, drug runners, and Ayatollahs. I mean, I think they're going to do really well in the midterms. So. It's going to be interesting, but to your point, it's not exactly it's like the least self-interested thing I've ever seen this man do, and that's I don't know how that plays out. A lot of the left is like me. Look, and you point that out. I'm a little embarrassed by it, but it's true, Kyle. Donald Trump is irredeemable in my eyes. He has vilified immigrants in a way that I can't forgive that. And there's nothing that he's ever going to be able to do that I'll be okay with. It may be that he inadvertently happens to do something that's good for our country. I don't think it's impossible that he could do something that's good for our country. And if we win a great outcome in Iran, that's fine. He's still irredeemable to me. Well, maybe he should go marry an immigrant. Oh, wait a second. I think he did that.
So is she going to have to leave if the Supreme Court rules against him? No, but Marco Rubio does. Did you catch this? The arguments in front of the Supreme Court. We don't have time to go into this. It's amazing. If you want to look, I think it's Forbes on YouTube runs. They're boring videos because there's no video. It's just the audio of the arguments before the Supreme Court. But in the birthright citizenship case last week, they made their arguments, and it looked like this court was largely pretty skeptical of it. But somebody pointed out that Marco Rubio, by the rules that the executive order has put down, Marco Rubio needs to go. Like, his citizenship is not valid. That'd be interesting. Yeah. Since he's the best positioned person to run for the Republican nomination, since they're throwing JD under the bus.
Yeah. Although I don't know if it'd be an interesting legal case if they did change that ruling. Would it be retroactive, or would it be from this day forward?
Well, this was interesting, and again, we don't have time to go into it, but the Solicitor General, that I can't remember what his name is, was like, oh, no, we're not saying anything looking backwards. And I'm like, but dude, you're arguing for a legal precedent that says these people don't, like, they're moving forward, their citizenship's not valid, and you want me to trust you that we're not talking about what happened before. I mean, that's not really how legal precedents work. If you invalidate the rule under which people got citizenship, and it might not happen tomorrow, but it might happen 3 weeks or 10 years from now, and now you got a piece of paper in your hand that says Supreme Court said that we're able to do it. It's worth watching or listening to some of those arguments. Interesting listen to Neil Gorsuch going after this guy about the argument about birthright citizenship, and Amy Coney Barrett earned some points in my estimation by standing up for what the Constitution says. The Constitution that's in the little folder thing in the vest pocket of all the Republican senators. They've got their Constitution, and yet we're trying to take birthright citizenship away.
Well, it's an amendment. I mean, and we have a process to amend the Constitution. So, I mean, that is the Constitution.
Executive orders ain't that process. If you think it's a bad idea, get you 2/3 of the states.
Hence the reason it's in front of the Supreme Court. Again, that's because of the Constitution. I mean,
yeah,
it's a changeable document. That's the benefit of it.
It is. It is. I think it's unlikely to change on the basis of this executive order, based on what I heard from the Supreme Court.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well,
other than that, Mrs. Lincoln.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln.
Anything else going on in the world that you noticed? This has kind of sucked up all the oxygen.
Yeah. We might pull out of NATO. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, why not?
And really, why not? What's the point of NATO, honestly, in this day and age? Is it really necessary?
I mean, who needs NATO if you're going to spend $1.5 trillion on a military?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just pay for it all ourselves.
We spend $1 trillion now, so I mean,
let's run the credit card up a little higher. Let's do that. And if we got to make cuts, let's do that on the backs of the poor. Keep our priorities in place.
Okay. Let's take this a piece at a time. So you really think that if we spend less on defense, we can count on Belgium and the UK couldn't launch a frigate to the Middle East because they didn't have the funding to get it up and running? I mean, if that's your defense strategy, I'm going to start learning a foreign language.
Well, I think we've talked about this. Why are we... How much are we spending on drones out of that $1.5 trillion versus how much we're spending on replacing the obsolete fighters and bombers that we don't need anymore because the world has moved on? Could we shave a few bucks off the $1.5 trillion for that?
I'm sure we can, but, and this is a conversation for another day, your desire to throw all negative things at Trump's feet is going to have a hard time landing on how we change the Defense Department. Because if you think a perfect president is going to have any impact over the defense industrial complex, I'm going to see if you've got some THC in that room that you're drinking. So.
No, stipulated. Like, this is a bigger problem than Trump. And 100% agree with that. But, man, we got to fix that. And, and I don't know that, like, how do we get people to think that through? Like, I'm weak on defense because I don't want to spend more money than our country, I don't want to spend more than our frickin' GDP on defense next year. I don't think that makes me unsupportive of our military. That makes me dubious about the system. This is not Trump. This is both sides. This is Congress. This is the whole enterprise. It's insanity what we're doing. But nobody seems to have the balls to make a change. I don't get that.
Well, I mean, we tried having somebody make a change, and that didn't work. Doge. I mean, that was essentially the concept: is come in and raise hell and try to change things, and that hit a big wet blanket in the Defense Department. I think I agree. I think the problem is it's too big to fix, and that sounds like a huge cop-out, but I think that's part of the problem. Is there's so many people with so many hooks in it. Like, And
if somebody had the political will, do you not think you have a very high opinion of our military, as do I? If somebody had the guts and said, by the way, like, we got to refill the Tomahawks that cost $15 million, that we're shooting, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal, our defense missiles cost like $3 million a pop,
right?
And they shoot down drones that cost like 20 grand.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be an economist to play that out, that's not really a winning plan for us.
Exactly.
And honestly, part of this is a disregard and a disrespect for our military. Do you not believe that if we said, actually, no, we're not going to spend $1.5 trillion, we're going to spend $750 billion, we're cutting it in half, and we're saying, generals, admirals, here's what you've got. Go make your plans, rearrange it, keep our country safe. That's what you can afford to spend. Do you not think that they would, by hook or crook, find ways to keep our country safe? Of course they would.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't say that like an indictment, like they wouldn't want to keep us safe. That's not what I mean. But I think the system at a working level is not designed to, because what you're really wanting isn't all these departments to go back and solve for a way to do it easier. What you're really wanting to do is a high level trade-off analysis, a high level, like, okay, there's this, multi-billion-dollar program, and there's this one. Let's get rid of this one because this one could do what the other one could. And that's it's almost like a Moneyball problem. It's like, right, okay, we can go sink $100 billion here and it'll do this versus this. The problem is the people that would actually figure that out are some asshole consultant that's going to soak the government for billions of dollars, like the Rand Corporation or the McKinsey or one of these other yahoos, to basically say the same crap that everybody knows, and it's like, but
if we had the will to follow through, I would gladly pay McKinsey $1 billion.
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't think these are that hard of problems. That's the crazy part. I don't think it's that hard.
Well, but then the other problem is even once you identify that, and I'm not trying to throw rocks. I'm with you. I agree with you 1,000,000%. I'm just thinking of the landscape. Mm-hmm. Once you decide the problem, all these stupid programs are all funded by individual defense appropriation bills in Congress. So unwinding those, now you're it's back to the same problem with executive orders. Well, some judge is going to file an order and say, well, you've violated the 2022 defense appropriations bill that says this freaking program is going to go to Pennsylvania and then this one's going to Michigan. It's right. So embedded, it's like unwinding it is damn near impossible.
Yeah. I just don't love spending $1.5 trillion on the credit card.
I don't either. But it's like I think honestly, it's actually an interesting dialogue because this may compete with some of your misgivings on executive power, but really the only way to fix it would be absolute executive power to fix that, because everything is so tied to all these congressional actions. To separate the two, you couldn't do, like, one person or one entity is going to have to decide all this crap. You're not going to be able to debate the 50 weapon systems in Congress, and then even if these people agreed with the data, they're not going to vote for it because it's going to screw up the plant in Scranton. It's like,
right. Yeah, I think I live in like the single state in the nation that I don't think has an active federal military base.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, we've got the Ames Research Laboratory, so we do nuke research here, but I don't think, and there's the Rock Island Arsenal, but that's in Illinois. I don't think you've probably got a source on that. A lot of states, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Like, they're loaded with bases. I don't think there's anything in Iowa.
Des Moines Air National Guard base.
Well, Guard, of course, but I mean an active duty base. I don't think so.
Yeah. Mostly Guard, and then the Rock Island.
Apparently, Chuck Grassley, be it 100 years old and having been a senator for 45 years or something, has been unable to bring that pork home.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably leave it at this point. I think we're not going to.
That would be a good topic for another day, the defense industrial complex, and we could do some research. Honestly, hell, that could be a campaign or a podcast all of its own. I don't know. It's kind of like the situation. I mean, it's different but similar. Like, everybody looks at that like 1.5 trillion. Have you lost your ever-loving mind? Like, what are we doing? But then it's like Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are the best two we could come up with out of 350 million people. But, it's kind of a similar thing. It's like, how do you solve something that big?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That would be a good topic to dig into.
I've got an idea how I'm going to solve it, and I'm testing it on the 25th of April. But
you know what we don't do enough? Oh, right. We don't do enough is interaction with our audience, and this would be a really good one. Get on our Bourbon and Rum podcast website. Send a note to the producer with your suggestion for how to get out from underneath $1.5 billion rock.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what people come up with. We've been doing a little analytics lately on the podcast. We have a really eclectic audience. And I think this is a good time to just say thank you to all of the people that listen to us. It really is wonderful, and it means a lot to us. And it's a really eclectic group. So what we could do is we could crowdsource a cure for the defense industrial complex on the Bourbon and Run podcast, and then we'll just run that up the flagpole and see where we get.
I'm serious, though. Like, it's the same thing on how can we get two other people to represent 350 million people besides Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. It's the answer is within. I mean, there is an answer to all these situations and questions. No offense, Kent, and again, I would vote for you as a candidate, but we do not have all the answers on the podcast.
Right.
But I do feel like if more people talked like we did and had civil conversation. I mean, look, tonight, we got a little heated at times. We got arguing with each other and throwing spears at each other, but maybe more so than some recent podcasts, but, we didn't drop any F-bombs and, we didn't throw anything at the television.
Well, it's not personal. I mean, right. It's exactly personal. Maybe that's the difference, right?
Right.
I know you, I love you, I respect you, right? I think you're out of your mind sometimes with the things that you think about Donald Trump. And I know that you think that, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Yeah, I'm a smart guy, but I got this one thing I can't get out of in front of me. And that's true. But honestly, it's not personal. I don't hold any grudge against you. But yet we allow people to manipulate us that way.
Yeah, and I think that if more people could be having conversations like we're having, that's how you solve these problems. I mean, you're not going to solve them on talking heads on a news show or the political theater that is the U.S. Congress or the Supreme Court or any of these other institutions. I mean, it's people slinging it and talking about it, and there's probably somebody that's got the answer. We just haven't found them yet.
Agree. Are we going to get a rundown on your event? Are we talking about that on this, or are we keeping that hidden? I don't know. What the story is.
I'd be happy to, but I know you're trying to keep it short tonight, so I don't want to go into too much detail. But
afterwards, can we get the after action report on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to tell everybody, I'll explain it in a later podcast, but I've had this idea for a long time about getting people together and talking, and I've had a vision of what it looks like, and I've been doing more ideating on it over the last couple of months, and I'm going to try to launch it later this month. But it's also daunting because, like, one of the reasons I've only been thinking about this for 30 years and never done it is now as we're getting ready to launch it, I'm like, I didn't think about that. Well, how's that going to work? And so trying to figure this out is a little complicated.
Who'd have thought that solving the world's problems is hard?
It just reminds me of a line like, hey, if you'd have told me 20 years ago that we'd be solving the world's oil problems, I'd have told you were crazy. Now let's get this rubber oil can. Or, I don't know what's Kramer's line. He's like, help me get this rubber container of oil out this window, and then they drop the hello.
Surely we can link that on the show notes. Hello.
Exactly.
Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Bourbon and Rum Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe on your favorite platform and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us keep the good spirits flowing.
And we invite you to join this conversation. Follow us on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear.
And until next time, cheers.